All right, what we're going to do now is another trim paths animation, and it just kind of shows you how you can take something and start with something simplistic and make it something that's kind of cool and elegant and sophisticated. So we're going to start with a blank canvas. Our composition, I'm going to click New Composition. We're going to take HDTV 1080 29.97, click OK. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a solid. I'm going to go to Layer, New, Solid. I'm going to make the solid a black solid, make the color black. Click in there and make it black. Click OK. I'm going to lock that, and I want to edit that at all. And I want my shape drawn above it. Now I'm going to grab my circle tool, the ellipse tool, and I want to draw a white ellipse with a stroke of 25. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and drag and make a nice ellipse. Now the reason why this is drawn on a separate layer instead of turning into a mask is because I locked the bottom layer. Or I could click away from the bottom layer and make sure it's not selected, because I don't want it to be a mask, I just want this to be a path. All right, then I'm going to click over on the alignment. I'm going to align it through the center, vertically and horizontally. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little path animation. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come down and click this Add button, and there are all these extra features in here. And one of them is Trim Paths. I want to click the Trim Paths button. And what I want to do is I want to take this path. I can animate the path. I'm going to make it where the circle flies on the screen. So I'm going to go down to the Trim Paths and tap that open. And I'm going to go to, I'm going to set the stopwatch at N to 0, so the shape starts off, not visible. And then I'm going to go to 1 second, and I'm going to go to end and set it to 100%. So literally what we have is that circle pasting itself onto the screen. So that's basically our basic animation. Now we're going to fix it up a little bit. So I'm going to select both those keyframes. I'm going to turn on the motion blur, make sure motion blur option is available. I'm going to make sure those 2 keyframes are selected. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to Keyframe Assistant, and I want to use my Easy Ease. Let's take a look at it again. Now I'm going to truncate the timeline, so I'm just previewing the animation. So I'm going to grab the bar here at the end, drag it all the way inwards like so. Grab the timeline indicator, the scrubber, scrub to the beginning of the movie, hit the space bar, and I've got something that looks like that. Pretty cool. All right, let's stop it. What I want to do in addition to that is I want to do a little bit of speed graph editing. So I'm going to select those 2 keyframes again, turn on my graph editor, and we're in the speed graph. And the points for the speed of the graph are down here at the bottom. And I want to click on those and drag them inwards like so. What that's going to do is give it a little bit of a pop, a little bit of agency. Something like that's good. And now when I play my animation, I have something like this. Pretty cool. Now, what I'm going to do is collapse all of this. And what I want to do is I want to go back up to that Add button, and I want to choose Group. And what I want to do is make a group, and I want to drag that group up to the top of the stack under Contents. And then what I want to do is take Ellipse and drag that into Ellipse and drag that into the group. So now I've taken that ellipse and I've put it in the group. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it. So Command D or Control D on the keyboard, that copies the group. So now I've created another object. I'm going to go down into the ellipse. I'm going to go down into scale under transform ellipse 1, and I'm going to scale it inwards by so much. So now I've got another shape based on that other shape, and they're both animating on together like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse all that again of group 1 and group 2. I'm going to select group 2, hit Control or Command D to jump or copy that content up to the next layer. I'm going to open that, go down into the ellipse, go down into the transform for ellipse, go down to scale, and scale that shape inwards. And now I've got this really kind of cool shape because I've copied that animation 3 times. So now we're starting to make something that's kind of interesting and fun. And you can see how by creating shapes and then copying and duplicating, you can make some very sophisticated looking effects or controls. So to kind of bring everything that we've been learning together. Let's stop here.